This is Jessica Hamby presenting my Module 1 Personal Introduction for EDL 853. First, I want to talk about my personal demographics. I am a wife. My husband, Andrew, and I have been married for 7 years. I am a mother. My daughters are Macy, she's 5.5, and Kendall, who is 2.5. I am a teacher, second grade at Pratt USD 382. I did graduate from Pratt High and played college basketball at Sterling College, and then I transferred to Kansas State University, where I earned my bachelor's in education with an emphasis in special education. And then I started my master's degree in 2008 in curriculum and instruction with an emphasis in reading. I graduated with that in 2011, and I am now working on my building level administration with Fort Hays. I do hold several positions in our district, such as I am our building leader, I'm on our district leadership team and our core district leadership team, and have held past roles such as our PTO director, for the teacher end of things and various other committees throughout the building. We live in Pratt. Our community is about 6,000. There is another school just right on the outside of Pratt that is enrolling. Majority of it is the surrounding communities. They will take some children from the Pratt community if they're accepted into their building. That would be USD 438 Skyline. But we are a smaller town, about an hour west of Wichita and about an hour south of Hutchinson. We have, we're about close to 60% poverty in our building. We're a Title I school. And we are part of the USC 382 is part of a special education, South Central Kansas Special Education Cooperative. USC 382 Pratt, we have an enrollment of about 1,100 students, 400 or so at our building. We're a K through 4 building. We have 5 kindergarten teachers, 5 first grade teachers, and 4 of second, third, and fourth grade teachers. We're in class 4A, and like I mentioned, we are part of the special education cooperative. As far as the use of content-based learning strategies for children with special needs, I would have to give our district a mixed review. I have been part of many meetings and many discussions where I am so proud of our district and all of the things that we're doing and that I am able to share. However, I know that we have some room for improvement. We are going through a current curriculum adoption in our building, where, every curriculum that we've had while I've been employed in Pratt has had a strong piece for students with special needs. But I think that it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the curriculum, rather the way that the teachers choose to build relationships and implement strategies that are successful. We have quite a bit of a staff turnover just due to age and nothing else. We had a lot of teachers retire. We've got a lot of newer teachers, and that actually, as you can imagine, has quite an impact. There was quite a while where I was actually one of the younger teachers. I am 35, and coming from teaching at Manhattan for a few years and with my special ed background through K-State, I brought a lot of, I feel like, new strategies to the table and kind of pushed the limits here in Pratt. But now that we have some teachers fresh out of college, some of those strategies are just second nature, and we're starting to see a lot of that be integrated more properly into our classrooms. I'm actually in charge of a process called the Teacher Rounds process, which I will explain a little bit later. We also just restructured our special education plan in our building. We have 3 special ed teachers in our elementary building, and they used to have their own caseload, and they would have students kind of each of them mixed K through 4, which kind of made it a little bit of a communication barrier when you would have one teacher working with several different special education teachers regarding how they handle expectations of students and grades and pull-out times, things like that. So we restructured that, made it where they are now more, where we've got one teacher with kindergarten first and part of second, another teacher takes third and fourth. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. We have a teacher that does kindergarten and first. We have a teacher that does part of first and all of second. And then we have a teacher that does our third and fourth grade students. So they're more compartmentalized. And I believe that that's been a pretty good transition and has worked more effectively for our staff as a whole. I would say that we have an outstanding student improvement team. I love our process of how we talk about students and what's best for students and come to an agreement early on with our kids and throw ideas out from our team on how to get these students turned around rather than look at testing for special education. Though I believe we still have a lot of teachers in the mindset that that's where they need to go as a first opt out of having to, basically work hard to meet the needs of these kids. So um, my personal use, I am pretty proud. I have a lot of background and experience with the special ed, though I've never had my own special ed classroom. I was a para. I have been an ELL teacher, and in my classroom, I always have anywhere from 4 to 7 or 8 children that might be on a 504 or an IEP. Manage anywhere from 1 to 4 paras at a time in my classroom. And one downfall of our building is that our principal tends to overload teachers that do, in his opinion, a good job with these students. That makes it a little tough on a teacher, as you can imagine. But I pride myself on differentiated instruction and meeting the needs of these kids where they are. And that's often one thing that I can say is that my students, we have great relationships, and I am very flexible and easy to work with. Same with communication. The special ed teachers report that they enjoy working with me just based on the simple fact of communication and ease and flexibility. As far as the classroom, like I said, it's not just the curriculum, but it's the minute by minute strategies such as the incentive charts or the wobbly chairs or how I might utilize the stress bucket for children to take a break and walk around. I recently had a student who is also a close his grandparents have adopted him, are very close family friends, and he had never been able to be out of a behavior school environment in a regular classroom, and we had successful implementation to where most people did not realize that he had any special needs at all behaviorally. So I just work really, really hard, and I know I have a long way to go, but I feel like I like what's going on in my classroom right now with this. As far as an administrative standpoint, I think this is maybe one of the reasons that I decided to work on my special ed or my administrative degree is because there used to be a time where I thought that I didn't want it to be on this end of things, but I do believe that I can have a bigger piece and change all around. I love Randy Watson is one of my heroes. I love where we're going with education right now. Um, and I think that I personally can get teacher buy-in just through experiences and hands-on training with teachers. That these kiddos that we work with, no matter the disability or need, they just need a strong relationship and a successful implementation can happen. The hardest barrier here is that we work with special education cooperatives, and I feel like that is a relationship that needs to be improved. Um, and I think more presence and more open lines with healthcare. They are pretty spread out, but it's hard to work with, you know, two separate entities that when you have to communicate, there's no level ground. There's not a whole lot of buy-in there because they have a different ability to we run into main problems here with we talk about students in we have our behavior school here in Pratt. And I think that accountability is a big piece. Our principal doesn't have any background with special ed or teaching actually much in general, and so it's very hard for them to go in and out of classrooms and give evaluations with not a whole lot of practice. district doesn't 100% meet as far as providing more resources, especially in the cars are fine. Again, that throws in a tricky piece because we are part of the cooperative. So a lot of things we do are tied to their money, but I do think that there's things that we can offer for our staff as a whole and then the special education cooperative for educators and teachers, which they generally do come anyway, to any of our trainings or if we have any special needs that aren't being met by the special education cooperative that we set aside some funds, whether it be Kids for Southwest or fundraisers for things that we might need for our students that we're not getting to the process. So just a lot of things out there